Welcome back everybody to a new video, and for the people who are here to actually learn how to trade, I'm going to say it off the bat, this video is for you. This is going to be a completely raw, completely uncut video where essentially I'm just going to take you through my thoughts, what comes off the top of my head in terms of my trading journey, and the things that when I look back on my trading journey are the things that actually allowed me to get profitable quicker than most other people that have done it. Now, if you're the type of person who needs some sort of, I don't know, B-roll or clips or quick cuts, you may as well just click off the video right now, because I'm going to say it, this is just going to be for you guys who are specifically dedicated, who want to learn. And if you are that type of person, grab a drink, grab a coffee, a water, and your notebook, and let's dive into it. Now, I'm going to start off the video quite simply just by going through a little bit of my journey, how I became a trader, and how I learned lessons quicker than most people. Now, obviously, if you didn't know, I started off my journey in law school. I began to essentially realize that maybe I didn't want to work a 9 to 5. And then when I actually graduated law school and became a solicitor in a law firm, a trainee solicitor, I realized very, very fast that, you know, the 9 to 5 life was not for me. So I jumped into trading, and yeah, I was essentially at the stage where I had to manage a very, very intense 9 to 5 job as a trainee solicitor. I was working sort of 60, 70 hours a week. It was very grueling, and the first thing that I'm going to put straight off the bat with trading, and the most important lesson in my opinion that I've learned from that is you must treat trading as a job. Now, a lot of people see trading as something that it isn't, which is essentially a get rich quick, a part-time passive income scheme. It's not that. If you want to be a trader, and if you are aspiring to be a trader right now, you're going to have to give some time to it. So you're going to have to treat it as a full-time career. And what do I mean by that? Well, realistically, I mean setting yourself specific hours, setting yourself a criteria of how many hours you're going to put in on the charts every week, how many hours you're going to put in learning, i.e. watching educational videos or actually just researching, backtesting, etc. So for me, the way I did it is I had a 9 to 5 job, like I said, in the UK. So what I would actually do is I would, have the discipline to wake up early and get some trading in before London session and before I went to work. Now, if you can't do that, I don't know, there's a bit of a worry, but if you can't do that, what I would recommend is realistically give yourself time during your lunch break, give yourself time after work, and yeah, you need to be studying in as many different periods as possible. So what I would do is I would simply get home from the office, I'd hit the gym, and then I'd be back, and instead of being on Netflix, playing Xbox, any of that sort of thing, I would be there, locked in, learning, watching courses, watching YouTube videos, reading through my journals. So yeah, do not treat it as a passive income scheme. It is not that. And realistically, if you have that mindset and you're not willing to put in the work, yeah, I would realistically be looking to find another sort of income stream. Now, I hope you are enjoying the video. If you are, make sure you do drop a like and subscribe to the channel. But whilst I was editing it right now, I did realize that I forgot to mention one of the most important parts of the video. Now, that is my new program that I'm opening up. Now, this is super exciting. It's going to change a couple of your lives. Now, realistically, I want to try and make as many of you profitable as possible, but I actually want to be working with you guys a lot more closely and a lot more one-to-one. So for that reason, I'm opening up a new one-on-one mentorship program that's going to allow you to work directly with me, and within a 60-day period, we will get you funded on a prop firm account, 100% guaranteed. Now, listen, there's going to be more information on this coming in the future, but if you are interested in working one-on-one with me, I can only take on a select few people. We're going to be picking from all of the applicants that have already applied down below. There is a waitlist form in the link in the bio, so make sure you go fill it out. It's going to be a crazy program. I have about 5 to 6 slots that are available, so they're going to be sold out pretty much instantly. But if you do want a chance to be in that, make sure you fill out the form. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of the video. It's an absolute banger, so much value, much love. See you all in a bit. The next thing, just quickly moving on, I would say the most important part when I look back, so obviously now I've been trading for around 3 years. When I look back on my career as a trader, the number one skill that I believe was the most important skill and the most instrumental skill in allowing me to become a profitable trader was observation, self-analysis, and self-insight. Being able to criticize yourself and actually realize whether you're doing a good job or not. Now, we're going to dive into this deeply right now, because if you do not learn how to develop this skill, I promise you, you are going to have a much, much more difficult time becoming a profitable trader. Now, yeah, I would realistically say this is the number one skill. If you can't do it, in fact, I'm going to say it right now, I don't think you can become profitable. Now, the way that I did it was very simple. I was very, and I always have been, very strongly self-critical. Now, what that means is, from every single task that I do, I'm constantly self-analyzing, reviewing myself, and realizing what I did right and what I did wrong. Now, how can you apply this into a trading aspect? Now, what I would say is, for you personally, you need to be journaling throughout your trading process. Now, I'm not talking about trade journaling, trade zeller, Excel spreadsheets, anything like that. That is a good skill and that is very important, but I'm talking about something different right here. What I'm talking about is actually journaling and almost like keeping a diary on your journey. So the way that I did this was very simple. When I came to the charts in the morning, I would write down, I had literally a stack of notebooks about this thick, and in it, I would literally write down every single thought that I was having throughout the day. Now, this could be something like, I'm getting to the charts this morning, I have a bit of brain fog, I took a trade and I lost. Maybe next time I have brain fog, I shouldn't be trading. And then also, you need to go a lot deeper into it too. For me, I would essentially, when I was in a trade and before I was getting into a trade, I would be saying to myself, okay, how do I feel right now? Again, that self-analysis comes back into it. How do I feel right now? As I get into this trade, as I'm doing my setup, as the setup is printing, how am I feeling? Am I feeling anxious? Am I excited? Am I overconfident? Am I self-doubting? What am I feeling right now? And I would write that down, and literally in first person, I would say to myself, written down, I would say, I am feeling this. I am getting into a trade, and let's say 30th of March, right? 30th of March, gold longs. I'm getting into the trade right now. I'm feeling anxious because of this. Or I'm feeling anxious, and here's the potential reason why. And then, whilst you're in the trade and whilst the trade's moving, you can literally tell yourself a story. So write to yourself, the trade is in drawdown right now. I'm feeling anxious. I want to close. And then you can say, why do I want to close? And you have to ask yourself these questions. A lot of people, and we aren't taught to do this at school, which is why I believe it's such a valuable skill. And this self-analysis that I'm trying to teach you here is not necessarily a given skill from birth. It can definitely be learned. And if you don't have it, and if you're thinking to yourself right now, why don't I do that? Do not worry, because I promise you, this is something that you can develop over time. So again, like I said, during the trade, maybe you're thinking to yourself, oh, I'm in profit right now. I don't want to close because I'm feeling greedy. I don't want to close because I think there's more profit on the table. Or yeah, like I'm in drawdown, I'm scared, oh no, I close the trade. And then after the trade, immediately afterwards, literally within a couple of minutes, I want you to write down a reflection of the trade. So literally say to yourself, I was in gold longs, I was feeling anxious throughout the trade, I closed the trade early, and then it ran to my take profit. And now after the trade, I'm feeling FOMO. And now obviously, the reason I'm telling you how to do this is because me and you directly are going to have completely different problems. For me personally, when I was first learning to trade and throughout my journey, I've struggled the most with closing trades too early. And the reason being is that I was always scared to lose the profit that I had already on the table. And I didn't want that trade to go into a loss. So from journaling, at the end of the week or the end of the month, after I'd been writing all this down into my journal, into my notebook, I would sit back and say to myself, okay, let me read through all these trades. And every single trade that I was reading, I was thinking to myself, during the trade you're confident, before the trade you're confident, then you close. Why did you close? And then you can be self-critical and self-analytical and say to yourself, oh, I'm scared during these trades. Or maybe for you, you might have the complete opposite problem. You might have greed when you're in these trades. So you might be seeing a trade go 2-3% in profit, and you think to yourself, no, I know what, this can run a little bit further. I can squeeze a little bit more profit out of this. And realistically, I can't tell you which problem you have, and I can't tell you a cookie cutter solution, because at the end of the day, there isn't one. And this is why I'm giving you the exact method to be able to diagnose the problem for yourself. So yeah, I want you to do that for a few months and give yourself an opportunity to understand your own brain. Because as we're diving into this topic, I'm sure you're going to see quickly and understand quickly that the main reason and the main avenue to become a profitable trader is through understanding your mentality. Now, let's just jump a little bit into that a little bit further, because if you really break it down into the bread and butter of trading, what are you doing? You are a human, you are a brain, and your fingers and your hands are an extension of that brain. And the extension of your brain is clicking a button to buy and sell on the chart and execute trades. So if you remove all the intermediaries, you have just your brain here. So essentially, your brain and your psychology is directly affecting your trading, and it is doing the trading. So if you can learn to understand your mentality in terms of how you are thinking during the trades and what mistakes you're making subconsciously, because again, these emotions, they are not conscious emotions, they are subconscious and almost hardwired into our body. In fact, they are hardwired into our body. So yeah, doing this for me is going to be an absolute key, and learning to be self-introspective and actually just be honest with yourself and say to yourself, look, I'm making a mistake here, and you have to be okay with that. You have to take the ego to one side, put it over here, and on this side, you have your logical thought, and you're going to say to yourself, I understand right now that I'm making mistakes. That is a good thing. I'm early on in this journey, and what I'm going to actually do right now is I'm going to diagnose these mistakes like a doctor, and then I'm going to work on what the cure is afterwards. And I promise you, at the end of the month, once you get back to reading that journal of your thoughts, when you've been breaking down your emotions during the trade, you've got a completely clear head, because now you're not in a position, okay, there's no money on the line, there's no floating blue or red number. That is what is going to allow you to say, all right, cool, I know what I'm doing here. You can exactly pinpoint, and you're almost going to think to yourself, wow, how stupid was I? I was doing this. But then the moment you get back in the next trade, the same feelings are going to appear. And that is why trading is such a difficult and long-winded process, because these feelings are so hardwired into our emotions, into our subconscious, into our beings as humans. You know, it goes back to an evolutionary standpoint of, you know, fear of predators and greed to get as much food as we possibly could to survive the winter. This is genuinely hardwired into our body through evolution. And as a trader, I want you and I need you to break those evolutionary patterns in order to master your mind and be able to execute trades appropriately. Does that make sense? Okay. So, as I said, that is one of the most important things. Now, when I look back on my journey, one of the other things that I think I did well here, and you are allowed to give yourself some compliments, but one of the things that I did well is picking my positions wisely. And what I mean by that is, last year in 2024, okay, we had the best year I've ever had, a completely profitable year. We averaged just under one trade per day. Think about that, under a trade a day, but yet I made the most money that I ever have in my life. So what does that mean? That simply means I am now selecting opportunities and picking the exact right criteria that need to be present for a trade before I'm entering. Now I know, and I'm sure you've heard the sniper analogy before, of a sniper not firing loads of shots, just firing, waiting, and firing that one select shot. And that's fine. That's a great analogy. What I'm actually going to do right now is I'm going to expand on that sniper analogy for you. Before that sniper gets the opportunity to line up his one shot and take that bang select shot, what does he have to do? He has to hike all the way up to his spot, wherever his lookout is, wherever the target area is that he needs to get to before he can survey the area. He has to hike up there. Now that hike up for you as a trader is waking up in the morning, having a good routine, and preparing your mindset in the morning. Now what does that mean? That's stuff simply as simple and as uncomplex as you saying, okay, when I wake up in the morning, first thing I'm going to do is not get on my phone. I'm going to hydrate. I'm going to essentially go for a walk, clear my mind, get some exercise in maybe. I'm going to have a clean room, and I'm going to have essentially a limitless and boundless area to be able to be trading and be focusing on that area. And essentially the setup that I'm teaching you right now is 10 times as important as actually getting in the trade. You need to prep your mind. If you're someone, like I said at the start of this video, who is so fixated on dopamine that they can't allow themselves to focus, they can't allow themselves to concentrate, you need to prime your mind. And this is everything that I'm telling you before you actually get to the point where you're going to be taking trades. Now, the second aspect of that sniper mentality is, and that sniper analogy, is when the sniper is looking down that scope, all right, when he sees his target like this and he's looking down this scope, do you think on the side he's thinking about what he's going to have for dinner tonight, or texting his boys whilst he's looking down the scope, or playing something else, playing music, or do you think he's looking elsewhere? No, he's looking directly where his target is. He's focusing solely on his one shot. Now let's relate that back to trading. So for you as a trader, you're seeing this setup form, right? You're seeing your target walk into the line of sight, okay? You're seeing your setup form. The candles are closing exactly how you want them to. Now, do you go and text your boys? Do you go and scroll on Instagram? Do you go and play video games? No. You have to be solely focused on trading. And this is where people fail as traders. You have to understand that to be a trader, you have to be able to purely just trade. Now, what I mean by that is you should be able to sit there for hours on end and purely look at candlesticks and be focused and wait for your target to line up, wait for your setup to print, and then execute. If you're unable to do this, you really, really do need to fix it. Now, I want you to be able to just focus on the candles. You can listen to music, but promise me from now on, you need to make this change, and I want you to essentially be trading when you're trading and doing other stuff when you're doing other stuff. Now, I'm not someone who's going to tell you you can never play video games and be a successful trader, or you can never scroll on your phone and be a successful trader. Obviously, you can do both. But you have to set some discipline, and you have to enable yourself to be disciplined enough to say, okay, 8 o'clock till 12 o'clock, I'm trading, and that is all I'm doing. Okay? And if you can't do that, then that is something you need to focus on before you even look at strategy, promise you. Now, the final aspect of this sniper sort of analogy that I'm giving you and you know, breadthing out here is when the sniper is coming up and taking that shot, and, you know, and he's got the target lined up and he's super confident and he pulls the trigger with pure confidence and he hits the target. Why do you think it is? Do you think it's purely just because he took that one shot and it was lucky? Or do you think he's taken that exact shot thousands and thousands and thousands of times on the range? Do you think he's practiced every single mindset? Do you think he's practiced how to read the wind, how to read distance? So you need to apply the same thing into your trading. Before you're taking live trades on the market and before you're trying to make money and scale your accounts or pass a prop firm or whatever it is, you have to have thousands, if not hundreds of trades worth of data before you can do that. So what I mean by that is I want you, first of all, before you are essentially getting onto the charts or getting onto that shooting range, you have to go to sniper school. Now you have to learn the strategy, you have to watch the videos, educate yourself, learn the strategy in and out, learn risk management, learn your entry criteria, where the stops go, all of that type of thing. Once you've done that, I want you to essentially now go to sniper school and practice taking those shots over and over and over again. So you're going to do that on a small live account, maybe even a demo account. Get a journal like the free journal that I've got in the description below, or whatever trade journal you want to use. Get that and build your data set. Now what this is going to do for you is it's going to allow you to essentially know when you're getting to the charts and you see a breakout trade forming, or you see a sky dollar play forming, or you see something like this forming. Now instead of thinking, oh, do I think that price is going to go up or down, or do I think that price is going to hit my TP? All you know and all you have to think about is, okay, in my journal, this trade has an 87% win rate. It's got a 1-to-1 average risk to reward. It's got a certain trade time. You know, the maximum drawdown that I'm likely to see is a certain amount of pips. Okay, you are knowing these statistics off by heart, and that is allowing you, in essence, to remove all personal doubt or personal thought on you. You don't have to have intuition in the markets. You don't have to have any sort of second guessing on yourself. All you know is that statistically and probability wise over time, this setup is going to print you money. Now, at the end of the day, this is something that genuinely changes your trading, because now, like I said, you are able to just purely rely on the data, and we know that probability is the most important thing as a trader. All you have to do is find a system that has a profitable outlook throughout, you know, years and quarters. And once you have that, now you're able to say to yourself, okay, perfect. When I get in the trade, I don't need to worry about anything at all other than the fact that I'm setting my stop loss at the right area, I'm setting my TP at the right area, and I'm making sure that it's an A+ setup before I enter. And you're taking away any external factors from your essential snipe that you're going to take. Does that make sense? Right, now let me just check here. I've got some topics because I don't want to leave anything out right now. I've also filmed this video twice, and yeah, last time the recording stopped halfway through, so I do want to just cover everything in detail. Now, yeah, essentially, that's the next thing I wanted to talk about. You are going to feel delusional in this trading space. You are going to feel as if it's not possible. Even sometimes now, I think to myself, you know, is it actually working? Could it just be luck? Obviously, then I check myself and say, right, you've taken over 400 trades in the past year. past 2 years, how can it be luck? Statistically, it's not possible, right? But people are going to tell you you're delusional, and people are going to say to you, it's not possible. You have to lean into that delusion and say to yourself, yeah, you know what, I am delusional, but I'm going to make this happen. And putting in the work genuinely is the only thing that's going to allow you to go from one end of being profitable to the other. Now, what do I mean by putting in the work? Well, you have to learn every single mistake that there is yourself. You have to put in the hours, you have to put in the time. Otherwise, who is there to tell you, okay? I can tell you right now, do not over risk, do not over leverage, don't take revenge trades, don't FOMO into positions, okay? But until you've actually put in the hours on the chart, learnt the strategy, done your back testing, and then still made those psychology errors, then you're gonna say to yourself, fuck, I've just blown my account. I spent my monthly wage on this funded account, and now I've got no money left, and I'm so stressed. And you're gonna say to yourself, okay, why did I do that? And if you're using my reflecting process by journaling, you're gonna look back at the end of the week and you can take full self-accountability for that. And you can say to yourself, okay, look, yeah, I made a mistake. I FOMO'd. I put too big of a trade on. My risk was too high. Maybe I, actually entered into the trade and I knew that there was something missing from my A+ setup, but subconsciously, I just took it anyway. Okay, and those are fine, and I want you to understand that these mistakes and these lessons that you're learning as a trader, sometimes you can beat yourself up about them. Give yourself the opportunity to learn every lesson once. Now what that means is, and again, this is a mindset thing, of turning each lesson, each loss into a lesson. So if you do end up blowing your account by revenge trading or over-risking, say to yourself, all right, good. I've now learned the lesson. I now know for a fact what the result is when I do that, when I overtrade, when I FOMO, when I, whatever it is, and give yourself the opportunity to say, okay, now that is a win. And this one little switch here in your mentality is going to be the one thing that turns you from an unprofitable trader into a profitable trader, because you need to change your mindset from being a I'm winning if I'm making money mindset to I'm winning if I'm following my plan. Now, what does that mean? Essentially, what I want you to think when you get to your desk in the morning is a winning day for you today would be, even if you took a loss, even if you took no trade, or if you took a win, if you followed your plan, stuck to your entry criteria, stuck to appropriate risk management, and didn't revenge trade, that is a win for your day. So even if you take a loss, even if you don't take a trade for 2, 3, 4 days, you're still coming to the charts and you're winning every day. And when you change the goalposts, you change the goalpost from being here, which is the goalpost is making money, and now I'm focused on money only, to the goalpost is here, which is me being disciplined and coming here every single day and doing the exact same thing. That is going to give you the exact right mindset, because now, instead of doing the things where money focusing gets you, so instead of revenge trading and trying to over risk to make more money or holding trades longer because you're greedy, now you're saying to yourself, okay, an actually winning day right here for me is when I'm sticking to my plan, staying disciplined, and I keep the right mentality. And that right there, that little switch right there, is something that 99% of traders don't have. And that's why 99% of traders fail, because you're so focused on the one thing that's actually the root of your problems, rather than giving yourself the opportunity to be attracting the money and actually not chasing it. And then you are going to essentially put yourself in the right mindset to be profitable. Does that make sense? Now, it's getting dark outside. I wanted the video to be a little bit longer, but there's a few things I want to talk about in the next video. If you have anything you want me to cover, give me a shout. Drop it in the comments below. I want you to essentially tell me what your biggest takeaway from this video was, because I think it was a pretty important one. Again, this was stuff that came just right off my head. And realistically, the stuff that comes right off my head is going to be the most important stuff, because that is the stuff that when I'm thinking, how did I become profitable? That's what comes to my mind.